Hi, Scorpio. This is your homework family reading for August 1st through the 15th. Sorry, it takes them a little bit longer sometimes than others. It wasn't so bad. I know not everybody likes to hear the bell. Even I get annoyed sometimes when I hear the bell when I'm going back and listening on the video. But there is a specific frequency that I'm trying to make sure I hit before I do the videos. And I finally realized that's just the way it has to be. So, hope you don't mind. Okay, Scorpios. This is for all Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in Scorpio. And I do want to make sure that I'm telling everybody, because a lot of times when people decide to go after the planet being Venus in the sign of whatever, they're looking for love. And for me directly, I know the way Spirit works with me, it's not necessarily going to be love if you're using the Venus energy in that sign. Because for me, it's when they're channeling it through me, it's going to be about your sensitivities in that sign. And I need to start saying that on each one of the videos so that people understand that. Okay, first off, for all Scorpios, I am being given... Now, this isn't for all of you, but some of you, there's a situation of insecurities. I feel like what it is there's something of an insecurity you're not addressing. And you're doing everything humanly possible, emotionally possible, going through just about any other emotion in the world than to have to deal with it, is what I feel like I'm being given. And it's actually throwing you out of whack. For some of you, know exactly what it is. Some of you, you just don't want to see it, you don't want to deal with it, and you're just you're pushing it around, and it's an insecurity that you're not addressing. Sorry. Because what Spirit really gives me is, from some of you it's grief, some of you it's guilt. And the way you view it, it can definitely be different situations. But either way, it's a form of sadness that's being caused by a fear that's not being addressed, which is an insecurity. Which is actually starting to turn in, for some of you, turning into bitterness, blame, being stubborn and inflexible, and getting stuck in your could-haves. I coulda, woulda, shoulda. What if I did this? I could have done that. I should have done this. Your could-haves is what I call them. And because it's getting stuck in your could-haves, your coulda, woulda, shoulda-haves, it's causing that inflexible, that stubborn energy. The blame is making what I'm being given by them is it's making, for some of you, go back and forth with an inner fight from the heart to the third eye and the crown chakra. There's a problem with that communication because of whatever this insecurity or this fear, guilt. Some of you maybe shame, because I just heard shame. It's causing you to have a blockage, and it's getting in your way. It's keeping you from finding peace and calmness within yourself. From knowing and seeing and believing in yourself, in your intuition, in your vision. And it's causing an issue within your awareness. It may just simply be a forgiveness that you're dealing with in some cases, or it's a trust. But it's definitely something that you already know. It's something you know that you're fighting yourself on. And it's causing you, it's actually starting to hit in some of you, it's causing situations within believing in yourself and your own power. Because it's definitely situations that you know you need to take action on, but you're not really comfortable about taking action on them, and you need to actually do it, not think about it, not desire about it, not I coulda, shoulda, woulda. You need to actually make those actions, is what I'm being told. But another thing is Spirit is, for some of you, I think, and I don't know how else to say this, for some of you, Spirit is like, I feel like what I'm being told is Spirit's trying to wire my mouth shut. They're like, you need to hear what's being said to you instead of you talking. In some cases, because I feel like some of this is, it's hooking into that grief, that bitterness, that blame, that insecurity, guilt or even shame. And while you're trying to talk yourself through it, you're, like I said, doing anything you can to push that energy around, and it's making you not address the true situation at hand. And what Spirit is trying to do is like wire my mouth shut. I can feel them. It's just like they're trying to shut it. But it's because they're making my ear, they're making my ear lift to a higher height, which is saying this is something you need to hear. You need to be hearing what's being said to you more than you need to be speaking in this case. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't speak your truth, but I think it is, you're not capable of speaking your truth fully if you're not hearing the truth. And it may be with outside of you. It may not just be, speaking your truth from your own soul self. It may be something that you can't acknowledge part of your soul self if you don't start hearing the truth. Is more of where I feel like this is coming. Now, let me see. Okay, for astrology. Let me get into my astrology chart over here. For astrology, everybody knows the Lion's Gate is August 8th. This is going to be one of the most powerful days of the month. There is going to be another incredibly powerful day on the 28th. And if you didn't get your information right by then, it should definitely have presented itself to you by then. And I'll be explaining that one on the next video when we come back in. But the Lion's Gate is created in part during the Leo season. This is why it's got the Lion's Gate name. But it is definitely dealing with the Leo energy, but it has a lot to do with the Sirius star. The Sirius star is considered God's consciousness, the way we view it in astrology. It would be the enlightened teacher. And it would also be, the way I see it, is Thor's hammer. It is coming directly in contact with the North Node. It's like a degree off. It's not right on top of it. And this is exactly why I said the later part of the month, they will be on top of each other. But right now, they're very close to very powerful energy. But until they're on top of each other, it's not quite in its illumination. And I am definitely being given the guardians of the pole are guarding this energy very powerfully, which is coming out of Leo and Gemini. So these energies are incredibly powerful. But the reason this is so important to you is because on the beginning of August 8th, the beginning of that day, the moon is still in Scorpio. It will be moving into Sagittarius in the middle of the day. But those 2 days prior to the Lion's Gate, on the 6th and the 7th, the moon is in your energy, which is going to make everything more intense for everybody all the way around. Okay, and I'm going to explain that in just 1 second. On the 11th, which is a Sunday, is going to be another very sensitive day. Empaths are going to be off the chain, and you probably won't even know which direction you're being pulled. You've got you have Mercury moving into Leo on the 11th, that Sunday. You have Jupiter going direct that Sunday. You have Uranus going retrograde that Sunday. All of this is different times of the day, but they're going all different ways. So, you're going to be pulled in all different directions. And for some of you, It's going to be a day that's really going to force and pull out some anger, is what Spirit was just saying. I had to go back and check to validate I was reading one of my messages right. But this anger is also going to be bringing up responsibilities that will be creating regeneration cycles that will either start a new birth or regenerate and begin something all over again, depending on how well you are dealing with the responsibility within the relationship of whatever it is you're dealing with, is what Spirit says. Now, you have the full moon that's going to take place on the 15th, and it will go from Aquarius into Pisces. Now, let me take a look here. You are going to have Scorpio on the 6th. The moon's going to be in Scorpio, and it is going to be having a conversation with the North Node, going straight across over to Uranus, and then coming back down and having a conversation with the Venus and Sun in Leo. So if we are looking at this from your point of view, this is your 7th house speaking to your 9th house, to your 10th house, and your 12th house. So your 7th house is all, that explains why they were pointing out the relationships. The 7th house is your relationships. It's all your partnerships, it's your marriage, it's your business contracts. It's anything and everything that you care about. Everything that you care about, you have a relationship with, right down to your money. If you have no money, you know about the relationship with the no money. But this is speaking to, within these relationships, what is the ethics? What is the morals? What is the higher education? What is the higher knowledge? The higher mind saying? Where's your higher soulfulness speaking to you of your inner truths? Of the inner truth of the relationship. Seeing past the bullshit. And what is the real true relationship of the real true relationship of these relationships? Is it bringing you, in the outer community, because if it's a work-related situation, could it be dealing with honor and prestige, a professional career? Could it be dealing with financial success, security, financial financial foundations? My mouth would just not speak. It's dealing with the responsibility, the authority, and the authority, the responsibility, and the duty within these relationships. And how does that work with the healing of your higher self and your ethics, your morals, your truth? And are you addressing the parts that are of your inner 12th house, which is speaking to you of your unconscious energies? And in this energy right now, with everything that's going on with this Lion's Gate, I keep saying it's coming back to daily mundane tasks, spiritual patterns, soulful patterns that we have created that are part of who and what we are. Patterns, addictions that don't work for us, but they're in our 12th house. And what I mean by that is we think we created like the walls that work for us, but they don't. Sometimes these are mundane tasks, like when you're helping others. It's always good to be helpful to others. It's always good to love others. But sometimes when you love this person and you love that person and you're trying to be a good human being, let me help this person out, let me help that person out, let me do this, let me do that. There's 24 hours in a day, and somehow you're the one that's getting pushed back, and your needs, wants, and desires are becoming the least important thing within these patterns. This has a lot to do with what all of this energy is about. Where are you not addressing you? Where are you not taking care of you? And it is going to be speaking to you of those grief, those sorrows, those secrets. that you hide from yourself, that you deny the truth to yourself about. It's the skeletons in the closet. Where are you accidentally harming yourself, not admitting you're harming yourself, and therefore you're not healing it. And it will be being addressed within those relationships, and how you feel about yourself, your higher self, your true self knows the difference versus possibly in the work-related area, because it could also be dealing with your honor, your prestige, career situations. And that's the energy that's going to be leading you up to the Lion's Gate. Because it's going to be showing itself before the Lion's Gate. Now, and it's basically where I'm being sent mostly to send you for this. Now, the Lion's Gate itself is taking place for you in that 9th house. And that's speaking of your higher self in Cancer, getting to the depth of your spiritual truths, getting to the depths of your spiritual ethics, your spiritual morals, urges, your spiritual higher mind and wisdom, your psychic energy. It might be rising at this time. Coming into a higher education of what your spiritual energy is and what your spiritual soul self is. Coming into a new level of authenticness, if you will accept it, understand it, claim it, and bring the healing to you that you deserve. Because it's rightfully yours. It's just coming into understanding a new level of self. Because it's in Cancer, it's speaking to you of how you nurture yourself. And you nurture your spiritual energy. You nurture that higher self and that connection. Speaking to you about what you need to learn in order to completely continue to move forward. And then have that higher connection. Because it's talking about the Sirius star. Again, God's consciousness, the higher education. It's the illuminated teacher. It's Thor's hammer. Getting to know yourself on a much deeper level. But what it's not getting along with is your universal 3rd house, which is communication. Something about the way you communicate may be very wrong. And I don't mean that you can't communicate well. It may be stepping stones that help you communicate outwardly to people, or learning that you need, like I said, I feel like my mouth was being wired shut, or learning to realize sometimes that sometimes the throat chakra and its healing has to do with also knowing when to not speak. Because in order to have really good communication, sometimes it's about hearing what's being said to you instead of hearing what you have to say. And in this case, this is because, like I said, they're pulling my mouth shut again. So I feel like this is what you're going to be learning right now. But there's parts of you that are going to want to speak up and want to have to say or speak your truth. And speaking your truth is never wrong, unless you're not getting the whole story to know enough about the story to be able to figure out what your truth really is. And that's why sometimes you need to be able to have this conversation, because it's without being able to be quiet, you can't sometimes get the information you need so you can communicate with yourself honestly. And the 3rd house is also speaking of your siblings and your neighbors, those short journeys. But it's gossip, it's the phone calls, it's your short visits, it's the delivery system. Also how you speak your delivery system. It is intellect, it is details, it is trivia, it is all things communicated related. And like I said, it is definitely, they're not getting along with each other. Your higher self, your higher truth is not able to completely shine if you're not allowing the information it needs to receive so that it can give it to you to come out. You are going to be finding you have a major amount of energy going on in 1, 2, 3. in your universal 10th house. This is where your honor, your prestige, your professional career could be taking off. This is financial success, financial community. It's the social community, social foundations, duty, and outer responsibility and authority. Like I said right off the beginning, it was saying is these the relationships and the patterns in these relationships going to have regeneration cycles or rebirthing cycles? And it was having this conversation of the right people being in your life to find the proper transformational healing so that you can bring that prestige, that honor to you, or start sending it out properly, because you have that's Leo for you, and Leo has Venus in it, it has the Sun in it, it has Mars in it, it has Jura in it. You've got everything there to set you in the right direction if you're walking in the right direction, to help you shine and illuminate and bring this power and this energy and this fire to you, to help create you in a new scene viewing for that honor and prestige. It is there for you at this time. And it's getting along wonderfully with your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem, and abundance is growing in that level. So you should be feeling good about yourself. But like I said, I feel like there's something here within these relationships, that there's something you've got to learn, and that you need to, I don't want to say zip it, because you're always needing to speak your truth, but it's knowing when to be quiet so that you can hear things that will definitely make an importance of what your truth is all about. And part of that you don't fully know, because it's like it hasn't shown itself. But like I said, that honor, that prestige, all of that, there's something about it that's fighting your relationships. It's fighting, everything that you care about in relationships. Your children, your home, your family, your lovers. It could, but like anything you have a relationship with, you have a relationship with. If you have no money, you know about no money. If you have no car, you know about no car. If you have friends that are backstabbing you, you acknowledge it eventually. If the relationship isn't going good, or you're not seeing everything in it, it's definitely going to be showing itself at this time. And the full moon will be taking place for you in Aquarius and Pisces, which is your 5th and 6th house. So this is talking to you about those mundane tasks, realizing where they have to change, because you're sitting right on top of Chiron, where those mundane tasks are not working for you, because it's also directly across the sky from Libra, which is your 12th house, and that's where your collective consciousness is. So there's things about yourself you're definitely learning. You may not like them, because in order to learn them, you have to work through the pain. You have to work through the pain of that proper healing. But as you work through the pain of that proper healing, it no longer is pain, because you've healed, you've elevated up. But it's going to be starting off with about making you also realize where you're lying to yourself about your pursuit of pleasure, where your true happiness is. And the reason I say lying to yourself is because Neptune is in that 5th house, and it's got Lilith very close to you. It's going to be either telling you where you're going overboard about making sure that you're incredibly happy and getting all the pleasure you want in life, or it's telling you where you're putting yourself on the back burner and you're not getting those things that completely make you happy. And without finding happiness at this time and acknowledging what we need for happiness, then we aren't actually moving forward. And without being able to connect with that inner child in a way that helps us realize how to experience happiness and how to go after it, then we start to have a problem with our inner emotional security because we can't truly get to the depths of ourselves. And if we can't get to the depths of ourselves, we sure aren't going to get to our soul purpose and be able to move forward because we're having healing problems. So it's always about healing ourselves first so that we can do good as we move out. Basically is what I'm picking up from the astrology. What does Scorpio need to hear to help them move forward? Inner peace. You are being given inner peace. You need to find peace, truth, and balance. This is the Two of Swords, and it is coming with the Three of Cups. So, this is you need to find within that outer community. What was we talking about? There's most likely more than two people involved here. It's the three. A way to find peace and harmony within that outer community and be able to celebrate in a balanced way, more or less is what I feel like I'm getting here. Because this is being able to find peace, truce, and balance. It is air and moon, but I connect this mainly with Libra. And then with a Cancer sign, Mercury. And this could be three people in the subject, more than three people impossible. But it's definitely saying this is more than just like a relationship of two people. This is definitely finding peace within. They're pulling this card like wanting me to bring this forward. You need to find peace within whatever it is of the surroundings, more or less. I don't feel like this is necessarily a celebration. I feel like this is having a lot of people in your life and making sure that you're able to find peace within the situations of what's going on, more than celebration. They're saying you will need to find courage within your tranquility in order to be able to do so. Are we done? Okay. Then they are giving me the Knight of Swords. I'll come back over them in a minute. The Chariot. And the Moon. All together. So, the Knight of Swords is summoning transformation. It is the leadership. It is forceful. It is enthusiastic. It is fire and air. I see this is Libra and Gemini, but it is coming forth with the Chariot. It is moving forward in a very fast way. It is finding the pilgrimage, the seer, pursuing the truth and the true insight of the situation, understanding inner peace. It is the gathering forces of the very perception as you're moving forward. But you're getting it from the moon. You're getting this energy as you move forward because of the moon's energy. And the moon is only half of who and what you are. It is speaking to you of connecting with that other half. Like I was saying, your subconscious. It's your nocturnal fears. And I said right in the beginning, Spirit was saying there's something about your insecurities, and they are saying that's pushing you back. Something about your fears and insecurities that you're not addressing, you're not healing, you're not working with. You're keeping them in that universal 12th house, skeletons in the closet, and you need to address them if you want this Chariot to move. More or less. This is where you're going to get to that transformational leadership of self, find the enthusiastic energy to move you. This is bringing thinking forward and being able to move yourself. Literally move yourself, launch yourself forward because you're healing that 12th house, because you're moving through it. And this should be healing the relationships. If it's not healing the relationships, then it's because you need to get rid of the relationships. They're giving you strength. What was I just saying? Courage with tranquility. This is courage and finding firm truth, firm courage, firmly and true of your spirit. I can't seem to talk. This is pride in Three of Pentacles, which is pride of doing what it is you do, of building what you're trying to build. Be who you are and creating what you're creating. You can have pride in that. You can be strong in what you're doing. You can be thankful for what you're doing. It's definitely something to be prideful for, because you're coming to a new level of you. You're elevating. You're getting growth, which is bringing you into a new peaceful place of life. May not happen easily, and like I said, there's pain you're dealing with, because they keep telling me you're working through pain of some form. But, and anytime I get the tigers, it's not the tigers, I always see them as the cheetah, but I'm getting it with this card. It's telling you it's changing your vibrational frequency. You're changing your vibrational frequency, which is elevating you as you move forward, and being able to make the process, the building blocks of the wealth that you're trying to bring out of yourself come forward. This is bringing the change of that life into brand new tangible reality, because you are strong enough to do so. Their challenge? What's the hidden challenge here? I mean, you stated it has to do with what it's had to do with, but what is a hidden challenge? Okay, that's just uncalled for. We're not taking like 11 cards. The bottom one is, though, overwhelming watery forces that are fertile. This is the watery star. Can you guess what card we're talking about? This is fertile vision, insight, and direction. It is blending inner and outer, reflection and balance. We are talking about the Four of Cups. Four of Cups often speak to us of missing the one cup, not realizing that the Holy Grail is still here. Kind of gotten bored with the situation and you're looking for something else. You're looking for it to be more than what it is, instead of being thankful for what you have. This is speaking to us of coming into a new level of this. The watery star with fertilization, insight, and a new direction is showing itself. It is reflection of the very balance, blending your inner with your outer world. Is there any clarity you can put on that Four of Cups for Scorpio? Are any of these for Scorpio, or is that just a mistake? Strange. Sorry, moving the cards. They said, first off, you're getting the moon with it. It's talking to you about getting into your unconscious energies and coming forward, finding the justice within yourself, coming to balance within yourself, weighing the scales and seeing your true light and dark side so that you can heal it. Within that energy brings the Wheel of Fortune, allowing you to spin it in a brand new direction, starting a brand new thing, all because you've had new insight, which will be moving you completely in a brand new beginning. It's definitely an ending of a cycle. It's definitely an ending of a cycle, but the cycle is coming to an end because of the insight. Because because of the curious growth that you finally found. It is Aries is talking about a beginning, and it's talking about having integrity. It's coming with the Queen of Swords. It is moving you forward. It is inspiring and invigorating. However, Spirit is highlighting in blue for me, which is talking about courage, that it is harsh trust. Harsh trust intruses, more or less harsh trust that issues. You're dealing with some harsh trust issues, harsh issues that you are moving through, which is going to come through through that Ace of Swords, brand new clarity, harsh issues that is going to make you push you into that new direction, making you become and start moving in the direction you're supposed to be moving in. I know which one I'm trying to flip. Would you just go there? What was I just saying? You're being given the Fool with the Eight of Swords. The only reason you're not moving forward is because you're afraid to. Is because of the things that you're holding on to, and you're keeping yourself blinded to it. It's like they're saying it has to do with that 12th house of not allowing it. But they're saying it's right there for you because you're getting the endless dance of death. It's the death card. It's the never-ending change. I was told the other day by Spirit, they say a lot of times that we're always in. They often say to us, as a kindness to us, that we are exactly where we need to be. And that's because all roads will eventually lead to the same road. The only way we don't go there is because we keep picking the wrong roads that make us take a longer amount of time to get there. Sometimes it's easier to keep walking down different paths or creating paths that there's not a path on because we'd rather wander off into different situations or different depths of ourself than to actually move down a path that seems like it would make sense, or because it might be hard. They're giving me sea turtles right now, and sea turtles remind me, when I get a sea turtle is always saying, for me, from Spirit, when the sea turtle is saying, the turtle pulls itself inside of the shell and allows the waters to take it wherever it will go, because it knows in the end, wherever it lands, it will be completely fine. It completely has trust and faith in where the energy will take it, and it knows that it will be just fine. This is what Spirit is saying when they try to tell us, all roads will lead us to the same place, and that we're on the right path, even if at the time we've wandered off. It's just reprogramming the situation to try to take you to the right place. So it's up to you how long it takes you to get there. You can just keep avoiding it and creating new paths that eventually are going to bring you back to the same cycle over and over again. Or you can be like the sea turtle. You can pull yourself inside of yourself, and you can just have faith that the waters will take you where you need to go. And I think that pretty much states it. But I'll see what our consciousness has to say. Because I think they pretty much put it very bluntly out there for you. And I think it's very good energy. The only way that it's going to be hard for you, or, there's healing going on that's going to be uncomfortable, it looks like, but the only way that it's not moving you to a better place is if you're fighting yourself on it. Fire elemental. I ignite the fire within me that connects with my divine. What was I just saying? You have to be connected and know that you will be just fine. And then you will be. I celebrate and honor my physical body through dance and through movement. So they're telling you to get out and enjoy your life. I am the creator of my own dreams and achieve them with my own confidence. They are just giving you positive inspirations that remind you of what you already know. Alright, I'm not doing all of them. So pick which one. I gratefully accept the abundance of that earth bestows upon me. Ground yourself, honey. Ground yourself and know that this is a seeding process. This is a brand new seed being planted, and you may not acknowledge it now, but it's moving you into where you're supposed to be going. And I will tell you, all of this energy going on right now, if you're not planting your seeds properly, it's going to let you know that you've done it wrong in 6 months when that next eclipse cycle comes up. I will leave you with this last one card. Spark of the Divine. I reignite my divine spark with me and recognize I am part of creation. I think it's a very positive energy for you. It's all telling you about the movement and the healing that you need to take in order to move forward. The only thing standing in your way of doing it is you. And that depends on if you're willing to let you. I love you guys. Bye. Also, if you do enjoy the readings, please subscribe. Please also subscribe and hit the bell so that you're always told in case you're a cross watcher and watch all the other ones, or you check out all of your different signs. And if you're interested in booking your own private appointments with me, all that information is down below. Love you guys. Bye.